Hi, my name is Ahmed Elmutasim and I am an entrepreneur from Sudan, chairman of this main international for sustainable development company limited. Today I'm going to speak about the Sudan and how to fix the economy. Sudan has a rich, diversified natural resources extending from the fertilized 200 million acres of agricultural land, several rivers and aquifers, huge amount of livestocks and very rich minerals and oil resources, but conflicts and tribal wars in south and west of Sudan and the heavy US economical sanctions since 1997 prevented it from utilizing these rich resources and pushed it into low-income fragile country, facing significant domestic and international constraints and large economical imbalances despite macroeconomic imbalances despite effort made towards macroeconomic stability and growth. Sudan remain in debt and stress and is eligible for debt relief under the heavy indebted poor economic HEPOC initiative. Soon it settles its conflicts and get peace around. Fortunately, before Barack Obama, the previous president of the United States, former Khalifa Hassan, January 2017, gave Sudan a 6 months partial conditional release of the USA economical sanctions and requested Sudan to improve in 5 issues. However, a full release from the USA economic sanctions will be granted to Sudan upon achieving an acceptable improvement on such 5 issues. Since then, things started to improve at all levels. On the level of improving the conditions at those above 5 issues and in the economic and financial investment level, though the big breakthrough will be if Sudan manage to bring all conflicted parties together to sign a peace agreement with the help of the USA Peace Initiative and get the final release from USA economic transaction. Then the USA and the international community will help Sudan to be released from its debts using the HEPOC facilities. Ever after, Sudan will be entitled to get development finance, let's say the finance from international development community and sustainable development goal arenas, and where our Sudan development scenario will start as follow, accompanied with the following reform that should be done in order to harness such great opportunities. A mix of financial solutions using different financial instruments are required to boost the Sudanese economy while performing the following reforms and establishing the national development plan and contribute to improving and maintaining a stable and predictable macroeconomic climate with a very strong macro physical instance as follows: to keep a debt to GDP ratio as low as possible, 13 to 14%, try to maintain inflation levels in single digits and the physical deficit at about 1.4% to 1.6% of GDP. So the key indicator of the economy are to be watched carefully to maintain for growth of business of local and international private sector and the flow of international investors to the country. The second set of issues have to be done how to be with the bureaucratic hurdles and entangles in the way of the doing business and try to perform and reforms using grant and associated available financial assistance to reform the 10 areas as per the doing business unit of the World Bank, especially with improving tax administration and policy in order to allow for growth of domestic resources mobilization, DRM, and also for the license of the concessional license and how to establish how soon you can start the business, which will, I think, the most important thing is the DRM, the domestic resource machine, which will contribute a lot in financing infrastructure projects and to coordinate with the international authorities responsible for public-private partnership verification unit to set the country Sudan public-private partnership unification units in order to qualify the infrastructure project to be qualified for the finance from sustainable development arena. As above recent regulations are taking place, investors will flow to the country and the donors, especially the multilateral development bank, will be encouraged to come and invest in the country. But before and while doing the above, the following should be done in order to prepare to get the country from the fragile and vulnerable state, using help versus future opportunity of the neighboring rich Arab countries, an effort to grant Sudan $10 to $15 billion, together with allocating certain amount of the official development assistance ODA that country will be entitled to it after HEPOC facilities release Sudan from its debts, a set of certain series of public-private partnership facilities from public-private sector and private sector to be established to serve essentially to build country infrastructure that will allow investors to flow in the country and the country reinstate the minimum strength to meet the minimum investment requirement to cover for the public human needs that state to pull the people from the poverty, as to decrease poverty to a suitable rate and to maintain health and education standards to an optimum acceptable level and rate. At instance, to continue doing the following: that innocent, to establish a special fund from diaspora remittance and other local private sectors and pension fund representing the private entity to act along with the coming official development assistance at the part, together with the domestic resource mobilization being mobilized, resource money from the improved tax and others public resources representing the public entity to go into a public-private partnership PPP project time to attract multilateral development, in this case the IDRIC or the other multilateral development, and using blending innovative finance. In this case, multilateral development will attract institutional investors from a private equity or private bond market and go into partnership 10 to 90% basis respectively, or they may utilize the great opportunity available from the private philanthropy of Gates foundations and others philanthropists organizations, such as grants or equity investments, guarantees, debt buydowns. That will play a significant role in financing such opportunity. So the opportunity is huge for Sudan to jump out of poverty, develop its natural resources in an innovative, efficient manner, and convert them to wealth, and consequently contribute to the prosperity of the world. So from here, I request the United States of America and President Trump to release Sudan completely from the economical sanctions on July 2017, and the international community to extend, please, the necessary help. Ever after that, Sudan will pay back generously. So if this happened, I think Sudan will be able to get out of this situation, poverty, and the economy of Sudan will be fixed. Thank you very much, Ahmed Elmutasim.